Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 25th, and right now we are looking at the lower level water vapor loop. You can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. Got kind of a dirty ridge configuration across some of the Pacific Northwest as this system moves through Canada here, and you can see some of these high and mid-level clouds moving across the area. That system will finally move through here as we go through the day today, but one more system out here that's going to move through on the day Wednesday and through Wednesday night before we really start to build this ridge up into British Columbia here and warm up the Pacific Northwest quite nicely. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as well. We got an interesting system here coming on in through next week. It looks like a trough's going to drop down across the west coast here, and it's going to bring some wraparound moisture into the Pacific Northwest, which could mean some thunderstorms for some areas here. We'll make sure to check that out here in a little bit of detail later in the video. This is if you need a nice home affordable weather station, very accurate. Click on the link down below to save 10% on that. You guys have probably heard me talk about this station. I'm quite impressed with it. This is looking at SeaTac yesterday, 58 degrees. Quite a nice day, actually. Had some sunshine out there. A little bit of rainfall, 300ths of an inch there. And again, it is below average about by 3 degrees here. But we're going to fix that here, and we're going to go above average, especially as we go on in through Friday and Saturday before the potential cool down comes later on this weekend into early next week. This is Spokane National Weather Service. Look at these temperatures warming up here for Spokane as you go on in through Saturday. Sunday, nice days coming. Some areas might get them to the upper 80s even potentially. This is looking at 7-day temperature forecast for Southwest Oregon, Medford, Roseburg, Brookings, Klamath Falls. You can see the nice warm up coming. Look at Medford getting up over 90 degrees, potentially on in through the day Friday. Then that upper level trough settles down over the region here as we go into the second half of the weekend here. And we'll take a look at the extended forecast here and see if we're going to bounce back on those temperatures here as well. This is the GFS sea level pressure map here. So as you can see, we've got this system that's going to slide by Wednesday through Wednesday night. Then we build that ridge up over the area. Then watch what happens. We get this high pressure kind of sliding down over Montana and Idaho here. And this helps build this thermal trough up the west coast here. So we're going to get a little bit of offshore flow, some compressional heating, some nice warm days here coming Friday and Saturday across the Pacific Northwest. But then as we go on in through Sunday, you'll notice this trough approaching here, and this really opens up across a lot of the western portion of the USA here, and we could get some wraparound moisture back up into the Pacific Northwest, which could include some thunderstorm activity, and we'll take a look at that more here in a moment. This is looking at 850 millibar temperatures here. You see BC, Washington, Oregon, and watch how things start to warm up here as we really build this ridge as we go on in through Thursday afternoon. And you can see this thermal trough. Look at these warm temperatures at about 5,000 feet marching all the way up towards Vancouver Island by the time you get towards Friday afternoon. Saturday, one more warm day here west of the Cascades, but then you can see this trough moving in towards the region here as we go on in through Sunday. But Sunday should still be a nice warm day here, mainly east of the Cascades as things cool down west. Then you see the trough settle down across California here, basically, and we're going to bring this east-southeast flow across the region here. And we could bounce back some of these temperatures here as we go through midweek coming up. This would be Tuesday, and we start to warm things up, especially east of the Cascades again. So something to watch here on into the extended forecast. Now looking at, this is a GFS at 18,000 feet, 500 millibars. There goes that system moving north through BC and Alberta today. And then we've got the one more system to go here before we really start to build this ridge here all the way up into southeast Alaska, British Columbia here. And we're going to warm up, as I said, through Saturday. Then the next trough comes, cools things down west of the Cascades on Sunday, but one more warm day east of the Cascades Sunday at least. Trough drags down across California here. We get that reverse flow for potential thunderstorms here, and we may even start to warm back up here across the region as we go on into mid the following week here. But we have plenty of time to watch that for now. We'll kind of check this forecast out as we go day by day. We're kind of looking a little bit far out here, about a week out. This is looking at 700 millibar heights. So as I put this into motion here, you can see that system go through Wednesday night, and then we start to build the ridge. You can clearly see it here as it takes shape over the Pacific Northwest. And then you can see the next troughing coming here. And this one then starts to dive down across California. And you can kind of see this easterly flow across Oregon, Washington, up into BC here. That could bring that thunderstorm potential here as we go on in through early next week. Something worth watching. I know people can get excited around here when we do get the thunderstorm chances here across Pacific Northwest. This is looking at surface-based Cape. I'm just going to speed ahead towards early next week and check this out as we go on in through Monday. You can kind of see the instability start to develop across some of the mountainous areas here, and this pushes off towards the higher terrain of the Cascades of Washington, BC, And watch as we go on in through Wednesday. Look at some of this instability building all the way into western Washington, Oregon, southwest BC. We'll have to see how this trends over the next few days. These systems can be quite fickle, so we're going to have to watch this closely. This is looking at 500 millibars up towards 18,000 feet, and you'll see that ridge build as we go through Friday and Saturday. Then the next trough arrives here. You can see the next batch of cold air here taking up residence here on the west coast of North America, and that low pressure system is going to drop down across California here as we go on in through next week. This is looking at daily highs here. Look at Seattle. The National Blended Models climb for 76 both Friday and Saturday before that cool down here with the next trough. This is Portland. Look at mid 80s possible as you go through Friday here before the cool down on in through later this weekend. This is Tri-Cities. Look at that, one more warm day on Sunday as well as Friday and Saturday being well up into the 80s here, and then a bit of a cool down, but still some nice weather there over there as you go on in through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week. This is Yakima. Here we go up into the 80s Friday and Saturday. Tiny bit of a cool down coming probably Sunday, but still up towards 80 degrees. Not bad. This is Pendleton, Oregon here, and you can see nice warm days here coming up this weekend and a little bit of cool down with that troughing. Here's Boise, same story as the other stations here, and you can see Sunday probably being the warmest day out there across the valley areas of Idaho. This is Helena. Look at this, even on in through Monday, some mid-70s showing up there. So you're going right into kind of going in towards spring and summer temperatures here across some of western Montana as well. This is Portland International, and you can see here we've been calling for these warm temperatures here now for a few days, and as we go on in through Sunday, though, we're going to get that cool down, but then you can see the temperatures bounce back a bit here as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, and even on into Thursday of the following week. We'll see how that trends. This is looking at Seattle, Tacoma, and I wanted to point this out because you can see how the precipitation's kind of been downtrending here as we go on into early next week coming up here, only calling for 100th of an inch there. So you can see the gradual downtrend, but since we have that trough around, this could be flip-flopping back and forth. We'll continue to watch that over the next few days. Here we're looking at 2-meter temperature anomalies, so check this out. As we go on in through Thursday, you can see things really warming up all the way into southwest BC here, across California, Nevada. And by the time you get towards Friday, look at some of these temperatures up over 20 degrees above average here for some portions of western BC, Washington, Oregon, down into California here. Eastern Washington, Oregon warming up quite nicely as well. Here's Saturday, a nice warm day across the entire Pacific Northwest. Then as you get into Sunday, you'll see that change coming. Still warm east of the Cascades, but we really cool down. Marine push coming here by the time we go on towards Sunday here west of the Cascades. Now we go on into Monday, and you can kind of see things maybe warming back up as we get towards next Tuesday again here across Pacific Northwest. Just depends on the evolution of this trough and where exactly it sets up here. But look at California dropping way down below average here as we go on in through the following week. But you can see again here Wednesday, look at that. Pacific Northwest could go above average again here. We'll watch that because this forecast is probably going to be changing quite rapidly here over the next few days. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook through May 4th here. You can see much of the west included. Precipitation probability outlook here, a little bit above average, but kind of a muted signal. This is 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here, kind of taking into account that trough potentially setting up here across a lot of the west coast here. But again, this is probably going to be flip-flopping and changing here as we go over the next few days. And here's the 8 to 14 day precipitation probability outlook. Now, if you guys haven't heard, we are now in an El Nino watch coming up here. So it is expected about 62% chance of El Nino conditions developing during May through July 2023. This is now looking at Nino 3.4. We are almost there already, 0.3. Once you hit 0.5, you start getting into those El Nino conditions there across the equatorial Pacific, although you do have to hang around there for a few months before it officially becomes an El Nino. But you can see the climb out of La Nina towards neutral, and now we're climbing towards El Nino. This is looking at the CFS forecast. It does forecast for a strong El Nino to come, and you can kind of see if you look over here, this is across the equatorial Pacific. That little dot there is the Hawaiian Islands. But look at that tongue of warm water really extend out across the Pacific Ocean there. So anyway, yeah, we got some exciting weather coming up here. We're going to be warm. Then we have the chance for that trough to move in here, even a chance for some thunderstorms across the region, probably going to favor mostly the higher terrain as per usual, but there is even a chance we could develop some thunderstorms on into western portions here as well with that east and that southeast flow here. That can be what brings us some of our interesting thunderstorms here across Pacific Northwest. But it is a week out. We need to take that with a grain of salt. That forecast can change rapidly. So yeah, we'll look at this again tomorrow. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you guys then.